大家好，欢迎来到原力区直播间，我是本次活动的主持人武荣。Hello everyone, I'm Dolores. Welcome back to our fourth open day of Force Web3 community. We are a non-profit community, and now there are public chains projects, ecological developers, and builders relying on different chains here. So we welcome everyone to speak out through our platform and promote the development of Web3 together. We're also a best place to launch or discover the brand new products constantly. Today, I'm so happy to have you here with us, and I'm back with a special guest, James. And we are going to talk about the special project from the Polkadot ecosystem, SubQuery network. James will share us the multi-chain data indexing for Web3, as well as some questions in our panel. So SubQuery network is the blockchain developers toolkits that forms the backbone of the Web3 infrastructure to help developers build the next generation of decentralized applications. It is actually a custom open source API between blockchain data and the dApp and tools, currently servicing the Polkadot, Substrate, and Adventure projects. Now, SubQuery also allow developers to focus on their core use cases and front end without need to waste time on building a custom backend for the data processing. So first of all, I'd like to have our guest introduce himself briefly. James, could you please say hi to our audience?
Hi, everyone, and thank you, Dolores, for inviting me today. It's a pleasure to be here on the Force community and talking to everyone here on the stream. My name's James Bailey. I'm the head of business development for SubQuery. I'm based in New Zealand, so I apologize for my accent, but I'm really happy to be talking to you all today.
Okay, that's really amazing. So happy to have you here with us. I'm looking forward to chatting with you. 那本期呢是我们原力开放日的第236场活动，我们邀请了来自 SubQuery Network 的 James 作为演讲嘉宾，分享主题 Multichain Data Indexing for Web3， 就是有关Web3 的多链数据索引的这样一个主题。那 SubQuery Network 呢就是一个区块链开发者的一个开源工具包，是构建 Web3 的基础设施，来帮助开发人员去构建下一代的去中心化的应用程序。那本质上来说 SubQuery Network 就是区块链数据与 dApp 和工具间之间的一个自定义的开源 API， 会帮助开发人员专注于他们的核心用力和前端，然后就不用耗费太多的时间去构建用于数据处理的自定义后端。那目前来说也是为Polkadot 和 Substrate以及 Avalanche 提供服务。OK， 关于更多 SubQuery Network 团队和 Web3 多链数据索引的这个信息，那有请我们的嘉宾 James 为我们开始精彩分享。So let's move on the sharing from James. Really eager to hear how SubQuery works. Because just like the Google of the Web3 or something like that, your project deals a lot with data electro. We are so excited about that. So James, I will help you to share your PowerPoint.
Yeah, thanks, Dolores.
Okay.
So I'll start by talking about the problem that SubQuery solves. Blockchain is an incredible technology, and it has the potential of changing.
Wait a second, please. Wait. Yeah, here we go.
So blockchain has the opportunity or the potential of changing the way that the internet operates. But blockchain actually has one weakness, and that's the way that it makes data available for you to query. Blockchain data is a terrible format to use. So if you're building an application, whether that's an NFT platform, a wallet, an explorer, the problem about blockchain is the way that the data is stored. So building these applications is difficult. And the way the data is stored is like on a blockchain is like a book. Imagine a book. And every 6 seconds, a new page is written to the book. And just like if I was to ask a book, tell me what pages my character appears on, it's the same question as like asking a blockchain, what were the last transactions that I made? Because you have to go through every block or every page and look for your name. And that takes far too long. So querying or searching for data directly from the chains, it doesn't work. It's too inefficient. Next slide, please. So one of the things that SubQuery is all about is providing a better solution to this. And this allows us to say goodbye to unreliable and centralized indexing solutions. Next slide. And what we do and what SubQuery is, it's an open source project that allows developers to index, to transform, and to query, i.e. to organize their data from the blockchain to power their next applications. And think of it, as you say, Dolores, it's like a Google for blockchain. Next slide. So we build SubQuery in a certain way for 4 reasons. And we always focus on these reasons. So it's a leading multi-chain indexer. We support many different chains. And the first one is it's fast. We spend a lot of time making sure that SubQuery is faster than other solutions. We use a lot of behind the scenes tricks to make this so. But the goal here is that collecting the data from your chain for your application is very fast. Secondly, it's flexible. SubQuery is open source, so you can use SubQuery to index whatever data that you want for your application. If you're building an NFT platform, you can get NFT data for your smart contracts. If you're building a DeFi protocol, you can get all the liquidity information from your pools. It's very flexible in terms of what data you need and where it's from. It's open source. You can adapt it or extend it or use it in your infrastructure. We have many customers that use it in a non-standard way because we built it open source and it's available for everyone. And finally, it's universal. So we believe that the future is multi-chain. We believe that many different chains will operate in the future and they have to work well together. And so we've made an engineered SubQuery so that it works across all the leading layer ones. It's a universal tool to manage and access your data. Next slide, please, Loris. So we've done a lot of work to focus on making this multi-chain. And we have added support. We are massive in Polkadot. We started there and we support any Polkadot parachain. So things like Akala, Moonbeam, Astar, Vala, Manta, many of the teams that you probably have had on this conversation or on the show, we work with and we support. We support Avalanche and many of the different subnets there. We supported Terra. Unfortunately, things didn't go well for Terra, but we support Cosmos and Juno specifically on the Cosmos ecosystem. And we'll be adding more and more chains from here on out. It's our goal to add support for many different chains around the ecosystem. Next slide, please. So customers always ask us, or people always ask us, what kind of projects does SubQuery support? What are your customers? Who are your customers? And the answer is everyone's our customer. We provide such a useful tool that if you're building an application that needs blockchain data, you need SubQuery. It solves all your problems. It gets that data and it organizes it and it allows you to build better user interfaces, so much better applications, and allowed you to build those faster. So we work with some of the top teams in Polkadot like Subscan, .marketcap, Subviz. These are explorers and scanners. Wallets, NFT platforms like PokerSwap, Nova Wallet, Fearless Wallet, Web3 Go is a China team. We work with new blockchain developers as well. As I said, Akala, Moonbeam, Astar, Parallel, Kala, Bifrost, Fala, Manta, many different teams out there. So we work a lot. Next slide, please. So how does SubQuery work? Well, it's very easy, right? It's an open source project, and it's a flexible project that works for you as a developer. So developers will grab a SubQuery project, and it's all, there's lots of documentation, all translated to different languages, but it's a set of instructions on how to index and organize data. It's like a recipe. And that recipe has the following three parts. There's a GraphQL schema file, which is the shape of your data. There's a manifest file, which is the configurations. So what chains are we connecting to, what events we're looking at, when are we indexing this information from? And then there's a mapping file, which takes data from the chain and converts it into the data that you need. So for example, I'm building a NFT database for all my NFTs. I might index all the transfer events that occur to my smart contract or to assets from my smart contract. And whenever that occurs, I just want to pull out the address it's sent to, the address it was sent by or from, and the NFT ID that was sent. Next slide, please. So we provide an open source tool that you can run by yourself, and you can build your own SubQuery project with. But running infrastructure, so running these tools is all free, right? But running the software, the SubQuery projects, that's difficult, right? It's like an infrastructure piece that can't go down because your application relies on it. So we want to help our customers and our users around the world run that infrastructure, and we do that through the managed service. The SubQuery managed service is a place where developers can deploy their project to, and we'll host it and run it for them in our data centers for free. We'll run that in a production way. We have very high scale. We have hundreds of projects on there. We do hundreds of millions of API requests each and every day, and we run it for high reliability. So that's the service we offer. But next slide, please. But we know that we believe that there needs to be a decentralized future, right? Like running these centralized services, that's not what crypto is for. So we're building a decentralized SubQuery network, and we believe that's the future of Web3 infrastructure. Next slide, please. And the reason why is because it allows us to decentralize and tokenize our network. And it's the next big leap for us at SubQuery. So how does that work? What does this mean? It means that anyone around the world can write a SubQuery project and can put it up to the world, and then anyone else around the world can index that project. They can collect the data from that recipe, and they can sell it on the network, and they can sell it to whoever needs it. And you can earn rewards or earn SubQuery tokens with that. So you have buyers and sellers of data on the internet. But we also have delegators who can stake or delegate their tokens to their favorite indexes. So we're building a community that allows you to completely decentralize your application stack, but also incentivize your community to help run your infrastructure. But it means that we will create completely decentralized applications going forward in the future. Next slide. So we have a lot of other features, and I won't go into this in this call because a lot of these are very technical developer focused, but that's what we do. We're a developer tool that a lot of developers use because it literally saves them a lot of time, effort, which is money, of course. It allows them to build better applications. So we build the best indexes so our customers don't have to. We include, EVM data from Moonbeam, Astar, Kala, substrate data. We support many different chains. We support subscriptions, so you can get updates as soon as they happen on chain. We have automated historical state tracking, so you can see what the state of the world was at a certain block. A lot of real detailed stuff that developers love and use every day. But the outcome of that for people listening here is that it's amazing applications. It's these mobile applications that you use every day are built on tools like SubQuery. Next slide, please. I think that brings the end to my sharing session. So why don't we roll into questions and we can kind of talk about how to follow us and stuff later.
Okay, that's really amazing. Wait a second. Yeah. So really, that's really amazing. So, thanks, James. Thanks for your amazing presentation. And as James mentioned, SubQuery is a fast, flexible, open, and uniform indexing solutions for blockchain developers to focus better on their front end and use cases. Almost every blockchain has a need to process and query data. The core promise of the Polkadot is to create a surviving community of developers, users, and business. So the whole community is going to need a service that allows them to reliable, find, and consume data quickly. So the security network is creating an open Web3 data relation by allowing you to completely decentralized your infrastructure stack and will be the most open, performant, reliable, and scalable data service for the DApp. So SubQuery could provide us the easiest and the most efficient way to search the information and help developers to build better applications on their top of such database. I believe this certainly saves us a lot of time and energy as the developers and the builders. So before we move on, I'd like to take a little bit time to explain for our Chinese audience about why do I feel Jim's presentation is really awesome, and I'm really enjoying seeing it and to learn a lot of new things about this product. May I, James?
Sure, go for it. Please do.
Yeah，感谢 James 今天的到来和分享啊。就是在刚才 James 的分享中呢，就是我们可以想象，当我们在一本几千页的书上找一段话，或者是茫茫的大海般的这个数据里面去找一组数据的时候，如果没有索引，那么我们就需要大量的时间来浏览所有的内容。当我们可以以某种方式来对这些数据进行分类，或者使用一个索引来寻找答案的时候，就可以节省大家很多时间或者精力。那Security Network 就是像我们 Web2 中的 Google 一样的这样的一个工具。那在 James 刚才所分享中呢，也提到了，它是一个非常快速的、灵活的和开放的，然后通用的这种索引的解决方案，来供区块链开发人员更好的专注于他们的前端和用力。然后几乎每一个区块链都需要处理和查询数据。那我们知道 Polkadot 的这个核心就是创建一个由开发者、用户和企业然后组成的一个繁荣的社区，因此整个社区都需要这样的一种数据服务来让他们能够可靠的、快速的去查找数据。因此呢，SubQuery Network 也正在创造一场这样开放的 Web3 的数据的基础设施的革命哈，允许我们可以在完全将这种基础设施的堆栈去中心化，并且为这些运行的 DApp 提供开放的和高性能，然后可靠也可以拓展的这样的一个数据服务。那 Security Network 也可以为我们提供最简单、最有效的这种信息搜索方式，来帮助我们开发人员在这类数据上去构建和开发更好的应用程序。相信这无疑是为我们所有的开发人员和建设者节省了一些时间和精力。那我们也期待2022年 Security Network 可以在更多的领域有一些发展和合作。那么接下来呢，我们就进入 Q&A 环节。 我们也准备了几个问题和 James 探讨。So, James, I'm going to move on to our panel and more about the security network. So welcome James to join us for the Q&A. The first question is the mission of the SubQuery is to help developers create products that allow us to move to the decentralized future faster. How will SubQuery network relationize the data infrastructure for Web3? So, James, could you please answer this for us?
Yeah, I can. So there's a secret in blockchain, which is that many of the applications that you use, even though they are called decentralized applications, they still rely on a centralized piece of infrastructure, whether that's a node or a tool like SubQuery or a database somewhere. And that application wouldn't work if it wasn't for that. And if we want to fully decentralize applications and move towards a decentralized future in the Web3 dream, we have to fully do that. And so we believe and we know that SubQuery is one of the last remaining pieces that needs to be decentralized. The data API layer is one of the last remaining parts of the stack of the application that you need to decentralize. So then you have a fully decentralized blockchain, you have a fully decentralized API, and you have a fully decentralized application. So that's one of the reasons why we know we have to do this. Now, how will the SubQuery network revolutionize that? So we're making sure that the SubQuery network is as open as possible. There are other networks that do data out there, but they have very high staking requirements. Like you have to be a millionaire to kind of participate. We're trying to make it so that the SubQuery network is accessible and open so that anyone can participate. You can participate as an indexer, you can be a consumer, or you can be a delegator, and you can earn rewards or receive rewards from using your SubQuery tokens. We also want to make sure that it's advanced, so it works very efficiently. It's going to be launched on Akala's blockchain, and it will work with any SubQuery project from any other chain, regardless if it was on Akala or Polkadot. So all these projects will be in the same place. And finally, it will be extremely fast, and we're working on different payment methods to make it much more efficient.
Wow, that's really amazing. Yeah, as James mentioned, security is provided for more open and efficient for the builders and the developers, which is really benefit for all the ecosystem, right?
Exactly
Yeah.
right. Providing these tools benefits the entire ecosystem. Like we won't succeed at SubQuery unless the ecosystem succeeds. So we have to help grow the ecosystem.
Yes. Yeah. Before we move on, I will explain for our audience. James 刚才有提到呢，就是说SubQuery 它也就是为它更是一个更加开放的 API，然后不仅我们知道它不仅是服务于 Polkadot 以及其他的 Substrate and Adventure 等等一些生态，然后可以用更加有效和更加开放、更加快速的这样子一个底层的基础设施来帮助更多的生态，然后去使用这个数据。Okay, so let's move on to the next question. The number 2 is last month, SubQuery partners with NFT Mart to build an NFT marketplace. In the future, will SubQuery have more plans for NFT and metaverse? So James, I understand the SubQuery automatically read the NFT data and store it in NFT's Mart's database. Since SubQuery not only fetched and latest data, but also store the history. So NFT Mart can track and present the entire ownership history of the NFT. So would you collaborate in such way with more NFT marketplace or metaverse projects. Would you please tell us more about your plan in the future?
Absolutely. So firstly, let's talk about how NFT Mart are using. NFT Mart are building a marketplace for NFTs, and what they are and how they're using SubQuery is very interesting. So I mentioned at the start, SubQuery is fast, it's flexible, it's open, and it's unified. And NFT Mart show off that it's how fast and flexible it is, but also how open it is. They index all the NFTs on chain, and they index every transaction that occurs with them, and they put that all into a database. And this is where the open part comes in. SubQuery is open source, so by default, SubQuery has an indexer, a database, and a query service. But NFT Mart just leave the query service and they just index that data into their own database and they build their own application on top of that. So they can do some real cool analytics around NFTs. So it's a great example how SubQuery as an open source tool can be used by our customers to do things that we never imagined, that we never thought about. And we love talking to customers and hearing from them of the amazing different things that they're building each and every time. Now, I want to also talk about other NFTs. Obviously, we see a big growth of NFTs and the metaverse, as you say. The metaverse is big, and a lot of big tech companies, Facebook, Apple, Activision, Microsoft, they're all looking at the metaverse as a future place, whether it's for NFTs or for gaming or for whatever, for work, for example. And we do a lot of work with different NFT projects. It's one of our biggest kind of customer base. So we do work with NFT Mart. We do work with a team called Remark. We do work with a lot of NFT projects on Moonbeam. Moonbeam has a lot. So like things like Zombies, User. There's a couple of others that I can't recall off the top of my head, but lots of different teams in NFTs. Because NFTs are really exciting. A lot of users are using NFTs. A lot of exciting stuff happening there.
Wow, that's really exciting about that. So amazing. So with the SubQuery's ability to query and filter the EVM or the transaction in addition to substrate data source. So this means the developers has access to the data in smart contract and can build the app faster and more easily on the blockchain, as well as use the SubQuery project to manage the product and make updates required. So we can check out this project, which can be found in the SubQuery Explorer. So SubQuery has a lot of exciting work going on, and we cannot wait to see it in many fields, like the James mentioned in the NFT and the metaverse field, and more collaboration in the future, like James mentioned in the Moonbeam, or a lot of team in the ecosystem. So before we move on, I'd like to explain for our audience as well. So 刚才 James 有提到，就是 SubQuery 它对于这个，就我们刚才有问，就是对于这个 NFT marketplace，和 SubQuery 之间的一些合作。那SubQuery 它会自动读取 NFT 数据，然后将它们存储在 NFT market 这个数据库中，然后也可以不仅可以获取最新的这个数据，也可以去存储历史上的一个记录。因此 NFT market 也可以去跟踪或者呈现整个 NFT 的一个交易，或者是这个就是它的动态吧，动态记录。对，那除了 Substrate 这个数据源之外呢，它还可以利用这个 EVM 等等，然后帮助开发人员去访问更多的这个智能合约中的数据，然后可以更快更轻松的去构建自己的应用。那刚才 James 也提到了，就是 SubQuery 对于 NFT 数据存储和他们的一些数据处理的一些优势和作用。那之后呢，他们也会在更多的领域去和 NFT 和 Metaverse 进行合作。因为这些领域都对数据有着非常大量的一个需求。当然，SubQuery 也和 Moonbeam 啊等等的一些团队进行合作。那我们也是非常期待未来可以有更多令人兴奋的这些发展，然后也期待可以有更多的合作和开发。So let's move on to the next question. So recently, SubQuery established the SubQuery Foundation. What role will the SubQuery Foundation play in developing the ecosystem? We know that James teams really done an absolutely value project and make a huge contribution for the Web3 ecosystem for sure. So would you please tell us more about the SubQuery Foundation? How will it benefit the whole ecosystem, James?
Yeah, absolutely. So we just launched the SubQuery Foundation, and the foundation is a separate entity that's really important for us as we go towards a public sale and launching the decentralized SubQuery network. The SubQuery Foundation is about guiding the development and the growth of the SubQuery network, but also providing the support for users and developers to build their own projects. So there's a lot of things that the SubQuery Foundation looks after. Mainly, it's around how we're going to build the SubQuery network and how we're going to improve it. So the development and the direction. But also the foundation, when the network launches, will receive a large part of the token supply, with the purpose of allocating that token supply to help promote the network, help promote the project, and help developers build with it. So how are they going to utilize the treasury to do this? We do a large-scale grants program. The SubQuery grants program has been around for 6 months, and we've helped incubate many different companies build their ideas. And the SubQuery Foundation will also take over the grants program. So assigning SubQuery grants to help the next generation of builders build the next product or application out there. And then really in summary, it's around education, community building, decentralizing the democracy and the governance, and developing a thriving ecosystem for our partners and for our community. So that's really what the SubQuery network is all about. It will be run by a SubQuery council, and the council will oversee the decisions, and it will be made up by key representatives. But over time, we want to move the whole SubQuery Foundation and the SubQuery Council to be more and more like a DAO, a decentralized autonomous organization. And that will be a slow process, but it's very important for us.
Wow, that's really amazing, absolutely. So the foundation is set up to promote and proliferate the use of the SubQuery network and to develop the ecosystem and the community. So the foundation will foster the growth of the SubQuery network and provide the support for the users and developers to build their project and depth, such as develop the partners or the communities, including hackathon and a blender program, right? And drive educational programs through the academy. So actually, we know that the SubQuery has a partnership with one block to run the hero course in China, starting in the April, right?
And that's a great example of the kind of activities that the foundation will run and carry on. We do a lot of work in China, especially with One Block. They're a very good partner of ours. And that's exactly what the foundation will help carry on.
Wow. So yeah, that's really great things to help developers learn blockchain data indexing in an early way, easy way, right? So as well as SubQuery will participate in the upcoming hackathon. So did you have a lot of plan about the hackathon in all of the world, right?
Yeah, we do a lot of hackathons. So remember, the whole thing about SubQuery is we build a developer tool. So one of our biggest challenges is how do we give this tool to as many developers as possible to make their lives easier? And hackathons and education programs like the One Block Plus courses are great ways. So One Block Plus with the Hero course, but also with the Polkadot hackathons that we're running in China and North America and Europe to encourage people to build a new project and give them the tools and the knowledge and the expertise and the context to build those applications. It's really important for us.
Wow, that's really exciting. So exciting about that. Yeah. Yeah, before we move on, let's explain something about James mentioned。当然呢，就是我们提到这个 SubQuery 建立的基金，那基金的成立也是为了促进和推广 SubQuery Network 使用，并发展生态的这个系统和社区。然后会为开发人员和用户去构建自己的 SubQuery 项目的项目去提供一个支持。那例如开发合作伙伴和用户社区的 SubQuery Network 的这个大使计划以及黑客松计划。那通过设置一些学院教育的这样一个技术的课程，然后去推动整个社区的发展。那其实我们刚才也提到，就是 SubQuery 已经和 OneBlock 进行合作，然后在4月份就已经开始了。在我们国内就开始举办了一个叫做 Hero Course 的这样一个课程，来帮助开发者轻松的去学习区块链数据的索引，并且 SubQuery 也将有很多场全球的遍布全球的这样的针对开发者的这个 hackathon 哈，这些都是离不开基金的支持的，也希望大家可以去关注。So thanks again, James, to joining us with our Force Open Day today. I really like your perspective on data infrastructure service in Polkadot and the multi-chain ecosystem in Web3. Those are all I have in terms of questions for you today. We can turn in SubQuery's Twitter space regularly and see what amazing things will happen. It was so nice to talk to you, and we will catch you next time, James.
Hey, thank you very much, Dolores, for having me. And it was a pleasure talking to you and your community. I hope you learned something new, and I hope you now understand why tools like SubQuery really make a difference in blockchain and why they're used by most of the applications that we use every day. But thank you very much for your time. It was great talking and sharing ideas with your community. And let's do this again one time in the future.
Yes. I'm looking forward to have more events, no matter in our Force Open Day or your Twitter space about this amazing projects. So see you next time. Take care. So, 本期呢，与直播间的朋友们呢，做个小小的预告，我们的Web3 Infinity Hackathon 也即将到来了。那之前的活动中呢，有给到大家很多预告的一些信息哈，无论是我们公众号里面的一些文章，还是我们 Twitter 以及社群里面的一些信息，那一起来啦。那本次活动的这样一个丰厚的奖金池，以及我们的新加坡峰会相关的一个福利的权益，然后获奖团队更是有机会 去获得来到新加坡峰会现场和大家见面，然后展示项目的机会。那我们的开启时间是7月1日，然后正式去开放报名大家也可以注意时间，欢迎开发者们来到 Dev Post 参与我们的报名。当然，我们也有几个非常棒的亮点想和大家分享，给大家介绍一下。首先就是有丰厚的这个奖金池，那我们的黑客松呢设立了各个奖项丰富的奖金池，还有不同的 track。的这样一个奖项，来帮助所有的参与者进行一个进一步的成长。然后在开发者学习支持方面，我们也是提供了非常全面的课程和教程来帮助大家。生态非常就是资深的开发，就是他们来进行一个辅助和支持哈，然后可以帮助各位参与者交付一个非常完整的项目，然后共同推进 IPFS 和 Faircoin 生态系统的发展。加入Faircoin 社区，然后围绕一个更好的去中心化的共同的这样一个网络的建设，还会为优秀的开发者提供一些投资啊或者工作等等机会。然后除此以外，也是会为大家提供全方位的这个服务和支持，那尽可能的帮助大家去推动您的项目。那介绍了这么多，就还是欢迎大家多多来关注和支持。然后更多想了解的信息，可以登录我们的黑客松官网来了解最新的动态，然后扫描屏幕右下方的2维码，可以了解更多。OK，非常感谢来到我们原力开放日的嘉宾和直播间的朋友们。原力开放日呢，后续也会继续为大家带来有趣的话题和生态资深大咖的一个分享。然后欢迎关注我们的原力区公众号，加入我们的 Telegram 和 Discord， 然后在社群内和我们互动交流，精彩时间第一时间就可以知道。那谢谢大家，我们下周2再见。Thanks everyone. We do have you have a great day with us and see you next time.